100! Hi.
Yeah, if that wasn't punishment enough. Congratulations, we're going to punish you for the next 15 minutes with a barrage of too much information. I'm Skip Alzheimer, and this is Katrina.
Hello.
And this is the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show. We've done this 900 times, at least.
Wow.
Jeremy is in the comments, and Jeremy has been kind of behind the scenes helping me make sure that my number count is right, and almost consistently it has been wrong. So
Skips has been wrong, not Jeremy.
No,
Skips
Jeremy has gone in and said, like, hey, I don't know if you know this, but you, like, skipped, you went back some numbers, or you jumped ahead.
Well, you are a skipper.
Yeah. But also it's just the fact that I maintain an inventory of what I've shown was because early on, when we started this, I kept accidentally showing the same film over and over again, because I was like, oh, we haven't seen this one. And then I'm like, wait a minute, we have seen this one. So I had to kind of come up with a list, and this is a list I will share with you a little bit later in the episode. And the reason why is because we're going to do some trivia, and I don't have the things handy. Let's see. Where's my stuff? Where's my things?
What things do you need, Skip?
I wanted to show off some trivia stuff. The prizes.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, but that's going to be the big prize.
Are they up there?
No, I don't know where they are. All right, and so anyways, all right.
Well, why don't we show film and then we'll come back for a trivia question?
Oh, that's a great idea. How about that? Films. That's what we do here. So here is we've been scanning a bunch of Cornet films. This is a Cornet film. Acting with Maturity. Enjoy.
Have you ever known a fellow like Phil, who waited too long to ask a girl to a dance at school? You've got to give him credit for trying. But today, he's a loser, and his friends aren't making it easier for him. Another try, with no better luck. You can't blame Phil for wishing he'd behaved differently. Thinking back, he realizes that his friends might have been able to help him with the problem. Or at least he could have walked out without pushing people around. But that's not what Phil did, and he knows it. Is he starting to question his actions? To wonder whether his behavior was immature? Meet Betty, moping because no one asked her to the dance Saturday night. She wants a shoulder to cry on. But her mother isn't offering her sympathy. She's having too much fun with an old friend. She thinks, Mother always acts so silly with Mrs. Harris. Shouldn't they act more like older women? No, that doesn't seem right either. Maturity means something more than how old you are. How should women their age act? Maybe there's no set rule. Maybe life is made up of different circumstances calling for different kinds of behavior. Perhaps relaxed. Perhaps respectful. Perhaps businesslike. Or perhaps friendly. All can be mature actions at the right time and place. They're old friends. What's wrong with their having fun? Maturity isn't just how a person acts. It's how he and others feel about those actions. Everyone feels emotional when something happy occurs. When something frightening happens. Or when something tragically funny takes place. But people behave differently. Some show the first feeling they have, and sometimes their reactions cause pain. But other people bring their first reactions under control quickly, try to help or to reason things out. It's no use saying, be mature, or act maturely. There's no rule for maturity in young people, or adults. It's something a person works out on his own, perhaps by thinking things over when upset or excited. And, in the end, the more mature the behavior, the more pleasant life can be for that person, and for others, too. George, Tom, and Hank have been friends for 3 years, long enough to learn each other's sensitive spots. For instance, though Tom wants to be an athlete, he's not too good at sports. Okay, it's true. But Hank is wrong to rub it in. It makes Tom mad. And he thinks he'd like to fight Hank. But he doesn't. The conversation changes, and the tension is easing up. And now that it's all over, Tom feels better, glad that he waited and held back instead of making trouble. Sally wants to go to her club meeting an hour early. That's when they're planning entertainment for the dance. But she's got about an hour of geometry homework to do. That's her choice, the homework or the meeting. She tries to work it out on her own. Maybe she can leave the meeting before it's over. Come home a little early. Or maybe her mother will let her stay up late after the meeting to do her homework. Maybe that'll be okay. Or maybe she can come to the meeting late, but still get in on planning the entertainment. Maybe that'll be all right with the girls. Maybe not. Is there a different solution? Maybe Margot Carlson will let her copy her homework. It's an easy way out, but she knows it's wrong. Sally doesn't want to ask about staying up late, and she's afraid to come to the meeting late. And the situation is more difficult because the choices are not equally mature ones. Here's Phil again. Remember he was looking for a date? Well, he's got one. With Betty. He doesn't especially like her, but she's okay. You guessed it. Someone he really does like has called back. She can make it to the dance after all. Will he go with Betty, who said yes first, or the other girl that he likes better? Whatever he does will take some mature thinking. In a way, that's what maturity is, thinking before moving, considering other people's feelings, facing up to tough situations. That's what maturity is all about.
The funny thing is, I think I've shown that film before. I was looking at the list, and I was like, oh, well, this is the second edition of Acting with Maturity. And then I realized the first edition is called Act Your Age. And so, anyways. So we showed a film a second time, a third time, a fifth time.
Even though there's a list now, thanks to Jeremy.
Yeah.
We still show duplicate films.
Yes. And just be, so I actually fill in this stuff, but Jeremy helps me kind of make sure that everything is attributed correctly to the right episode, and also came in with a thing that tells me if something's duplicated, but because I added second edition, then it didn't show it. So, anyways.
What do you have for lunch? Isn't this a lunchtime show?
I had a sandwich. I had a sliced chicken sandwich with Swiss cheese.
What do you guys have for lunch? I'm having a broccoli quiche. I did not make it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was a quiche left over. I forgot about that. So there seemed to be a debate about your hair.
What do you want to know? What are the questions?
Yeah.
It's been short since January 3rd, but there's been different iterations.
And you just got it cut.
I did get it cut
on Monday
because
so, yeah.
I'm not sure if I want it long or not, so I'm doing this kind of, back long. I don't know. Thanks for noticing. Skip didn't notice. I got a haircut on Monday. I had to tell him.
I did notice because I had to babysit.
Oh, you knew I was going to get my hair cut, but you didn't say anything afterwards.
Right. I'm sorry.
Note to partners.
Yeah.
Whatever your partner is.
This is quickly turning into a Skip Alzheimer roast. Thank you. Okay, so, all right, we have some trivia questions, and the first...
Oh, yeah, trivia questions. Did you tell them this is what we were doing?
No. This is all
exciting.
ad hoc. This is all I came up with in the last 15 minutes. All right, so the first question I'm going to post in the comments, and I'm going to read after I post it, and then we'll take the first 5 answers, first 5 correct answers. And if you win, you get Navy Geeks button, a lunchtime 60mm lunchtime sticker that my nephew did, a Navy Geek sticker, another sticker. This is one of the homeschool kids, and then an AV Geeks Sharpie.
Wow, loot.
Yeah.
Loot and merch. Get some merch.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and post this in the comments, and Katrina's going to keep track. She's going to watch on the other computer.
While the film is showing, I guess.
Yeah, while we show the next film. So I'm going to paste it here, and she's going to call the first 5. Now we know that YouTube is a pain in the butt and might not list your thing correctly. So it's possible that you might get cheated, and I'm sorry about that.
All right, I'm going to take it off top chat and put all, right? Isn't that a way to do it?
Sure.
Or something like that?
Yeah, live chat.
Live chat. Okay, that should help.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to paste the question in the comments. And first 5 answers.
Get some bling.
And I'm going to show another film. And so the question is, what was the worst film that has been shown on the AV Geeks stream? What was the worst film shown on the AV Geeks stream? All right, here's Eat Well, Grow Well. Enjoy.
This is a story about Alan and what he learned about foods. Alan had a puppy, and he wanted it to grow into a strong, healthy dog. So Alan fed his puppy good food. But Alan wasn't as careful about his own eating habits. Often before dinner, Alan ate candy. This usually spoiled his appetite. Even though his mother cooked nourishing meals, Alan would eat only what he liked best. Much of the nourishment that should have been in his body after meals stayed on his plate. Did that make any difference? It certainly did. Alan often felt too tired to play, even though his friends seemed to be having fun. And when Alan did play, he didn't play very long because he tired out easily. It also seemed that his health wasn't as good as his friends' health. One day, just after Alan had gotten over another cold, his father told him some good news. The circus was in town again. Alan had gone last year. He remembered the wonderful things he saw. He remembered the clowns and the trained elephants. He remembered a man who walked on a tightrope and a circus boy who did tricks on a trampoline. Father said the circus boy was putting on a special show that day to help advertise the circus. The show was going to be about good health. Father said Alan could go to the show. So Alan went to see the show with his father. They had good seats. And then the show began. The circus presented The Circus Boy on the Trampoline. What energy! What good health the circus boy must have to do all that. Alan wished he could be like the circus boy. Alan wished he knew how the circus boy got all his energy and why he was so healthy. And that's just what the circus boy was going to tell everyone about. Now, perhaps Alan could be like the circus boy. That would be wonderful. Good food. That's what gave the circus boy his energy and health. What about those words on the table? Alan had learned about them in school. He knew that foods rich in carbohydrates and fats are important for giving us energy. Foods rich in vitamins and minerals help us keep well. And foods rich in proteins are important in helping us grow. Alan wondered how he could be sure that he was eating foods that contained what he needed for energy and growth. That was exactly what the circus boy was going to tell everyone who had come to see his show. But how was he going to use that table? And that cloth? And the ringmaster's hat? He was going to do some magic tricks. First, he put all the foods and words on the table into the magic hat. Then he mixed everything together. And soon, he was ready to show everyone exactly what to eat to have energy and good health. First, he took a carton of milk from the hat. Everyone knows that milk is good for you, but did you know that there is a group of foods made from milk? We call these foods milk foods. Cheese is made from milk. Butter is also made from milk. So is ice cream. Because these milk foods are especially rich in vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fats, they are very important for our health. There is another group of foods, the meat foods. Meat is rich in proteins. Other foods that supply us with lots of proteins are fish, chicken and other poultry, eggs, nuts, and a food made from nuts, peanut butter. These foods that give us important proteins for growth, just as meat does, are called meat foods. The meat foods are a second important group of foods. That was easy for Alan to remember. Now the circus boy showed a third group of foods. We know that carrots are vegetables and that oranges are fruits. And we also know that pineapples are fruits. Vegetables and fruits are good for us because they contain more vitamins and minerals than most foods. Foods in this group, vegetables and fruits, are especially helpful in keeping us well. A fourth group of foods is called breads and cereals. These foods are especially rich in carbohydrates. Remember, carbohydrates give us energy. Some other foods in this group are crackers, spaghetti, and rice. The energy we get from breads and cereals helps us keep from getting tired when we work or play. Alan could see why the foods we eat are put into 4 groups. That makes it easier for us to remember that we should eat servings from each group every day. For good health, here is what you should do. Drink 3 or 4 glasses of milk each day, or eat some other milk foods in their place. Eat 2 servings of meat foods every day. Eat 4 servings of vegetables and fruits. And eat 4 servings of breads and cereals every day. Eating the right amounts of the right foods will help us all have the energy and health that the circus boy has. But there was one kind of food the circus boy had left out. To tell about this kind of food, he walked straight to Alan and put the magic hat on him. And then, doing one more magic trick, he reached behind Alan's ear and found candy. The circus boy hadn't put candy on the table because sweet foods can spoil your appetite. The circus boy reminded everyone that candy should be eaten only after meals. Alan would try to remember that. In fact, he wanted to remember everything the circus boy had said. From then on, Alan did his best to eat the right amounts of foods from the 4 food groups. His mother helped every day by serving the foods he needed for energy, health, and growth. Alan even put a food chart on the wall. At every meal, each day, he looked at his chart. Each day, he tried to eat the right amount of milk foods and meat foods, vegetables and fruits, and breads and cereals. Now Alan was already feeling healthier and stronger. And wherever Alan's friends were playing, you would usually find Alan too, because now he had lots of energy. Health, growth, and energy. This is what all of us can get from eating good food.
Please put it in the chat. Okay, hey, so, listening to the voice of circus boys, the advice of circus boys, is always a great idea. So, there were lots of responses, and none of them are surprising. The chat just, and what I'm looking at, the chat just disappeared, so could you paste that in?
Yeah, do you want it one by one?
No, just paste it in.
All right, done.
No, it's too big. Okay, never mind. All right, let me just read it.
One by one, I'll do it.
Yeah, but let me read. I have to tell the folks what it is. Okay, so
What's the worst film?
Rick K said the Space Lasers film, an animated film, a Christian film about space lasers that everybody really hated. That was phenomenal. Then the next one was Old Radios was traumatized by the bullies destroying a Victrola that is coming through the Rye, not the Rhine, coming through the Rye, but it's close enough. Burrow Owl, the hypnosis film, which is also known as Unconscious Motivation. A lot of people hated that one too. Nate Marcel wrote Wonder Cat. I know that some of you really, really hate Wonder Cat, but some of you like Wonder Cat. So, and again, another animated film made for young kids to kind of explore some of the ideas behind science. And then Kid Curmudgeon, the Napa film, which I can't remember the title of. It has such a generic, annoying name that I can't find it in the in my spreadsheet. And it was incredibly tedious. It was wonderfully tedious. So there you go. I'll be I think I have all your contact information, but if not, I'll give my email address at the end in case you've changed your address. All right. So the next trivia question is, and this one is going to be for the same prizes. So you folks who answered and won the first one, please don't answer. Give other people a chance to answer. So, because the prizes are going to be exactly the same. And do you really need 2 stickers, 2 buttons? The answer is no. So if any of you answer and you won the first question, we're going to bounce to the next person. All right. So name 2 guests besides Katrina who have appeared on our lunchtime streaming show. And I'll take the first 4 answers. All right? First 4 answers.
You're going to put it in the chat?
Yes. All right. Now we're going to watch another film. Because that's what we really ultimately should be doing, is watching films. This one is about cutting and pasting. which is what we're doing a lot of virtually. Enjoy.
These children are getting ready to cut and paste. Their teacher has put out the paper for them to use. There are many colors to choose from. And here are scissors for cutting the paper. The children will get the scissors one group at a time. But you have to be careful with scissors because they're sharp. How do you carry them? With the points down and at your side. And do you run with scissors? No, it's safer to walk when you carry scissors. Now there's paper to cut, and scissors to cut with, and some kind of paste, or some kind of glue. Now everyone is ready to begin working with paper and scissors, paste and glue. They're going to build a farm. They've been studying how a farm should look. What will this paper become? A barn. Uh-oh, too much paste. That's better. What will this be? Can you guess? It's something long and round. It'll stand near the barn. Let's see. Have you guessed what it is? A silo. Now all the silo needs is a roof. The barn needs a roof too. This tower needs a windmill at the top. One way to make the windmill is by folding the paper before we cut it. Here's the windmill. Now let's see what other children are making. Someone is making another part of the farm by folding and cutting. A fence.
And another fence. The fences and farm buildings are coming along nicely. But what about the farm animals? Here comes a cow. It has spots. What is this going to be? It's curly. It's the curly tail of a pig. And what's this? It's a horse's tail. Here is the mane. Here's some wool for the sheep. And here are bright tail feathers for the rooster. These legs and feet are for a chicken. Here are beaks for the geese. And here is a pond for the geese. Look at these flowers. What a colorful farm this will be. And here's a big tree to give us shade. Now all the cutting and pasting is done. The children can begin putting their farm together. Here is the barn. Here are the silo and the fence, the windmill and the farmhouse. And here are the animals, the pigs, the cows, the sheep, the horse, the rooster. The chickens are in place. And here are geese and ducks for the pond. The trees will shade the farmhouse. And the flowers will make the farmyard beautiful. Are the flowers too close to the cows? The cows might eat them. There. Now, the farmer's wife can enjoy them. Now all parts of the farm are in place. What a wonderful farm. But the work isn't really over yet. Cleaning up is also part of cutting and pasting. The waste basket is for waste paper.
Only scraps are thrown away. Pieces that can be used again are saved.
Close the paste and glue jars tightly. If paste or glue gets dry, it's not good anymore. The scissors are put away. the desks are cleaned. Everything is in its place. Now the room is clean and neat again. And how proud everyone is of the farm. And so you see, with paper and scissors and paste or glue, there are wonderful things you can do.
All right. You know, that film is fascinating to me. The idea that they would show it to a bunch of kindergartners to try to get them to pay attention and actually cut and paste neatly and quietly. Forget it. I just think that's wishful thinking on their behalf of the filmmakers. Okay, so the trivia questions, there were a lot of great answers, but I needed two, not just one, but two people guests who have appeared on the show who were not Katrina. And so Thomas Talbot was first. He said, my nephew and the library lady. All right. I was like, what do you mean? You know, can you be more specific? Because there's been several library ladies, but I'm going to take it.
We're going to take it.
And then Jeremy Ritchie wrote Irene Moon and the Found Footage Guys, which is great. James Chavez wrote Mom, Dad, and Sister. That was when we broadcast from the beach. And I think different episodes. We did one about lasagna, and my mom was on, and she made lasagna, which was awesome. Then my dad, stepdad, was talking about coffee. And my sister, I can't remember what we were talking about. Maybe coffee. I don't know. Anyways, and then JDB said Joe Pickett and Nick Brewer, who are the Found Footage Festival guys. All right. I have another one here. Another question. I think we're only going to do 4 questions. I think total. And this is up for grabs. Everybody, it's up for grabs. So you get, if you win it, you get a DVD, AV Geeks DVD. Gotta Sing, Gotta Dance, Gotta Teach, which has the Magnificent Major film on it and Telezonia, etc. And then also you get a copy of the Field Guide to Sponsored Films by Rick Prelinger. And this is a list of how many films? More like 500, almost 500 films that are on his site, on my site, on Periscope site. So yeah, so this is a free for all. Anybody can answer. What are 3 places? All right, you got it right. 3 places that Skip has live streamed from, besides the archive. 3 places. All right. Now we're gonna watch another film. This was made when we used to have winter. So this is Winter Comes to the Forest. Enjoy.
This is the forest in summer. Among the trees and other plants, animals find shelter. In fall, the forest changes. Many trees lose their leaves. Some of the birds fly south to warmer weather. And some of the animals, such as the rabbit, grow thicker coats of fur. Winter is coming to the forest. The days become colder, and in many parts of our country, winter brings snow. The forest is very still. What happens to the forest in winter? Are the plants and animals living? The trees look bare and dead, and the smaller plants are brown and dry. But the trees aren't really dead. They've just changed for the winter. The leaves have fallen, but there are buds on the branches. The buds have tiny leaves folded up inside, and in spring, the leaves will grow again. Other plants are alive too, even though they may look brown and dead. These long, thin plants are called horsetails. If we were to brush away the snow, we'd see that the lower parts of the plants are green and still living. Many plants appear dead above the snow, but the roots underground are still alive, and new plants will grow again in the spring. Other plants do not live through the winter, but leave seeds, which are alive. In this pod of a milkweed plant, there are many seeds. They will fall to the ground, and in spring will grow into new plants. What do the animals do when winter comes to the forest? We can't see animals now, but many are still here. Some have found sheltered places under the snow, and some are in the water beneath the ice on the pond. If we look more closely at the trees, we may see how some of the smaller animals spend the winter. Do you see the cocoon on this twig? Inside this cocoon, a caterpillar is changing into a moth and will come out in the spring. This spider egg sac looks like a cocoon. Many spiders cannot live through the winter, but they spin an egg sac. Inside this protective covering are the spider eggs that will hatch when winter is over. Some insects lay eggs in the ground before the snow comes. Others lay them on the bark of trees. The small bump on this bark is called a gall. Inside the gall are insect eggs that will hatch in the spring. Below the snow and deep in the ground, we may find an ant nest. The ants spend the winter in their nest, which is far below the frozen ground. In a place such as this hollow log, other insects may find shelter. Inside a log, certain kinds of butterflies may stay until the days become warm again. They spend the winter in a kind of deep sleep. What about the other animals in the forest? What happens to them in winter? Remember the sheltered place we saw before? It's the entrance to an animal's home. An animal's underground home is called a burrow. This burrow is the home of a chipmunk. During winter, the chipmunk sleeps much of the time in the special deep sleep called hibernation. If we look closely, we can see that the chipmunk is breathing, but very, very slowly. The chipmunk may wake up to eat, but it also uses some of the fat stored in its body before winter came. This kind of sleeping, hibernation, is the way chipmunks, gophers, and other furry animals live through the winter. Other animals stay in sheltered places too. When the weather grows cold, the snakes in the forest may crawl under large stones like these. These garter snakes do not move during the cold weather. In the forest pond, other animals spend the winter. Beneath the ice and snow on the pond, in the cold water, frogs and turtles remain very still. This frog will stay on the bottom of the pond and not move much until the water becomes warm again in the spring. But other animals in the forest do not stay in sheltered places or hibernate. Certain birds are active in the forest through the winter. The chickadee is one bird that does not fly south, but stays in the forest. Birds like the chickadee and the downy woodpecker eat insect eggs and hibernating insects that they find in the bark of trees. The junco eats the seeds left by plants in the fall. The owl is another bird that stays in the forest all winter long. Other animals roam the forest in winter too, leaving their footprints or tracks in the snow. Here's the cottontail rabbit, looking for food. Sometimes the rabbit eats the bark of young trees or saplings, which it gnaws off with its sharp teeth. This big nest of leaves is the home of another animal that stays in the forest all winter. The squirrel. We can see the squirrel almost any day in the forest in winter. For food, the squirrel eats the nuts and seeds which it stored in the ground or in its nest before winter came. The deer must look for food in the winter too. In the winter, the deer stay together in a group or herd. The deer's winter fur is long and thick and protects it from the cold. Although life is difficult in cold weather, there are many animals and plants that are alive in the forest during the winter. When the weather begins to get warm once more, the snow begins to melt. Pussy willows are one sign of spring. On the branches of the trees, the buds are opening. The cocoon we saw in the winter is empty, and the moth has come out. A spider is busy spinning a web, and a rabbit has a new family of babies. Animals that were hibernating are awake and hungry. The frog has come up out of the pond into the sun. And the deer is growing a new set of antlers. Spring has come to the forest after the long winter.
All right. So joining me, Katrina had to leave, but here's another very important K in my life. This is Kayshawn, my assistant, who has been... How long have you been working with AV Geeks?
Since, well, I had to think for a second. Since, in some ways, since 2011.
2011. So all the times that I've been gallivanting across the United States, Kayshawn has mostly been here keeping things running. And what he is holding is a very rare, limited edition screen printing of an AV Geeks logo that an artist friend of mine, Dale Flatham, made. And it's a projector dune buggy. And this is the prize. if you get this question right. And there's only one answer I'm accepting. So the first person who chimes in with the correct answer, and it has to be, can't be partial, it has to be the entire what I'm asking for. And also, this is not coming in a frame. It's going to be rolled up in a tube, because sending it in a frame is just pointless. You have to provide your own frame. But these are awesome, awesome things. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the comments, and I'm going to say it at the same time. Name all 3 of the April Fool's shows. What happened with all 3 April Fool's shows that we did on the streaming show? First person who gets it right wins. But in the meantime, thanks everybody for contributing, donating, hitting the thumbs up button, the like button, tolerating what we have been doing. Yep. So the partial answer was given, but I'm accepting all 3. Yes. All right. Rick K got it. He said it first. This year we did Wondercat, all Wondercat episodes, which everybody loved/hated. Last year we did Nick is Skip and Skip is Nick. And then I think the year before that it didn't fall on the right date. But then before that, YouTube robots took over, and I was a robot. So awesome! Thank you so much. So here is I said that I was going to send this. This is a link to all the films that we've shown. All 4,251 of them. There's some duplication in there. There's all sorts of mess in there. But Jeremy, who's in the comments, thank you. He has helped kind of wrangle it and kind of make it work out. But again, thanks everybody, and thank you Keishan for running things, because he's the one that's making the money when I'm doing stupid, silly stuff like this. I love your donations, but they do not pay the electric bills here. So thanks again. And tomorrow is going to be the 901st episode, which is going to be incredibly anticlimactic compared to what we just experienced. But I'm still going to do it. Still going to do it. Everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll be back again tomorrow, etc. Bye.